Hi guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to a new video. Welcome to the October reset. I missed this. I didn't do a reset last month. I was just kind of trying to sort some things out behind the scenes, make some changes. I talked about it maybe in my August video that I was going towards quarterly goals, and so I didn't really feel like I had any updates on my goals in September. I'm so excited to just like catch up, chat, set some new goals for a quarter ahead, check in on our bucket list. And yeah, but if you guys are new here, I kind of just started saying what we do in these videos. But basically I just go over my goals. It used to be monthly goals. Now we've moved to quarterly goals. Do a little check-in on our annual goals since a quarter is ending. I want to also check in on my Halloween or my fall bucket list, and then go over my budget for the month, reflect on that. I've stopped setting up the budget for the new month in these videos because I just feel like the budget typically looks like there's obviously a few little tweaks, right? But the bills and everything kind of stay the same month to month. So I've kind of just started doing a reflection of how that month went, like September's budget, and then in November you guys will see October's budget, if that makes sense. I quite enjoy doing it that way. Let me know what you guys think about that. Favorite products, and then also the books that I read this month. So I've got the computer out. I figured we could start with going over my Q3 goals, and then I could share my Q4 goals with you guys. And then I want to do a little bit of a check-in on my annual goals and my Halloween bucket list. That's like a lot of goals checking off boxes and things, but I feel like I just really need this reset. As you guys know, I've been pretty open about it in the vlogs, but my mental health has been trash this month. I feel like just the state of the world is a lot. I haven't really spent much time on short form social media this month. I've had like, you know, an hour, not even a day. And that is going to be fairly obvious in the amount of books I read, because I was like barely, I feel like, online this month in terms of like short form, not really with YouTube, but I actually think I'm going to go ahead and share my screen for this. Just kind of feels a little bit easier. Here is my reset page for 2025. I do think in one of my recent videos, I also did a little bit of a Notion tour, but I can share with you guys kind of what this looks like quick as well. So here are my yearly goals. I like to have this right at the front. That way, whenever I click on the page, I'm kind of reminded of them. Make cinnamon rolls from scratch. Still haven't done this. I haven't learned needlepoint yet, but I did get one of those Woobles hot dog kits. I ordered that like the end of August, got it early September. So hopefully I can check this off, learning to crochet. I did crochet as a kid. I know I was really cool, but I want to take it back up as an adult. Visit a new province. I can check that off because I went to New Brunswick this month. I feel like I can check this off. Journal consistently without the expectations of perfectionism. I feel like I'm in a good routine with journaling. Still need to work on picking up my film camera more often. I feel like I just get scared. Like I'm just like, what if the photos don't turn out? Hit 150K on YouTube. We're getting there. Go to a movie premiere at Disney Studios Canada. I went to a like advanced screening. I don't think that counts, but yeah, I can't check that off yet. Attend an F1 race. I actually think I'm gonna end up taking this off because, to be honest, the only races like now left at the end of the season that we want to go to are Austin and Vegas. But with everything going on, we're not going to be going to the States this year. So I think we're just going to put that back on next year. That's okay. Host a book event. I think this would be so fun. We're kind of like in the talks of doing this right now, trying to figure out if we're going to do it in Ottawa versus Toronto, where, and so we're working on that right now. Okay, replace back door, redo the home library, laundry room makeover. I can take this off. We're not doing that anymore. Landscape the backyard. We did that this weekend. We just laid down the grass seed and got that all ready to go. So very exciting. Finished putting back all the trim and molding in the house. I'm just gonna do trim. The only room we have left to do is the dining room, so hopefully I can check that off soon. Read at least one book I haven't read yet by 3 of my favorite authors. Okay, I think I could check this off now because I just read Fireline by Maggie Gates, and Maggie Gates has quickly become one of my favorite authors. And I'm trying to think of a third book I read. Like, does a new release count? I don't remember if I said if a new release counts, but I just finished Tour Season by Rin Weaver, so I think I can check this off. Try a 24-hour reading challenge. I'm hoping to do that this month. Catch up, finish the series you're currently reading. I actually want to I should probably catch up on my series tracker, because I definitely think that we're catching up, but I don't think we're caught up yet. I feel like these relationship ones I can only really check off at the end of the year. Like, they're things that we're kind of continuously doing. Invest 15,000, we're on track for that. Consistently track, I think I can check this off. I've been so good about my sinking funds. You guys would have seen that in the budgets. Like, I'm proud of myself on that. Be more mindful about fully using what I have. Definitely been really good about that. I think I can check that off, honestly. Like, it's something I'll continue into the end of the year, but we've been so good about that. Work on my all or nothing mindset regarding finances. I'm still working on that. And then invest in my health and wellness more. So I think we're doing great. I think the issue is some of these are like year-long goals, so it's kind of tricky. Like this one, 20% of my business income goes to donations. I actually ended up changing this to 15, but it's something like I've checked off because I've done it every month so far, but I still have a few months left. So maybe I should actually uncheck this, honestly, because it's like a year-long goal. Okay. Doing good, really happy with that. Here is my like investment progress, because like I said, I really want to hit 15,000 invested by the end of the year. I just need to update my September one, but we can go back and do that after. I have all my growth trackers here, and then we have our monthly resets. So the first few months of the year we did monthly resets, then we switched over to quarterly goals. I guess we can go over these. Let me know. Do you guys like when I screen share? Do you guys like when I just put the little box on the screen? I would love to know, honestly, what you guys prefer. I know for the budget, you guys like when I put it on the screen, but I'm not too sure about the goals. So we'll try this out this month, see if you guys like it. Okay, so I had decided when I moved over to quarterly goals that I wanted to do a few bigger goals and then just like some one-off check-off goals, I was calling them. So develop a weekly workflow. I definitely feel like I did this, and if you guys want to hear me talk about these more in depth, you can check out the last monthly reset, but I definitely think I did a good job at this. We're gonna put a check there. Find balance between creating for myself and creating for content. I definitely feel like we did a good job of that this month. Create a home office space that feels like me. Definitely accomplished that. And average 3 hours of screen time weekly and 1 social media free day a week. My average right now is 3 hours and 32 minutes. So technically I can't really say that I crossed that off, but compared to what it used to be, which was like 5 hours, we're definitely getting there, but I will put a X on that for now. In terms of my check off goals, hit 25K on Instagram. I did that. I don't like checking it off right away though, because I feel like you always get a few unfollows that kind of like trickle in, which is fine. Like, you know, my channel's not going to be for like everybody, and it is what it is. Like, I'm not really like offended by it, but I feel like you almost can't like really take it off until you hit like 25.1K, because then like you might go back down to 24.9. But I guess I can check it off for now, but if we go back down, that's fine. We'll get back up eventually. Hit 125K on YouTube. We hit that. We actually just hit 127K. Invest 3,000, did that. So we're on track for the $15,000 goal. No spend week monthly. There really is only spending on like my day off and then on the weekend. So like I do average 3 to 4 no spend days a week. So in my head, like I'd rather that than just like one full no spend week. I don't know. I have a love-hate relationship with them. So technically I can't cross that off, but I was averaging 12 to 14, 15 no spend days a month. And then I vlogged it last week, but we did have a big declutter and organized day at home. So honestly, I think we did pretty good for Q3. And now let's go into Q4. I'm so excited. So actually, maybe for this, we will just talk, because I feel like these are a bit more chatty. Like when you're checking off goals, it's easier to just screen share. But I think for this, I might just share them on the thing, on the screen with you guys, because then I can chat them through. So let's actually do that. Kind of struggling to come up with some goals, and what I've realized over the years of having, you know, a toxic productivity mindset, moving out of that, trying to find a good balance of goal setting but also living life, is if I can't come up with a goal, I'm just not going to set one. Like, I'm not going to force myself to set goals just to set goals. It's taken me a long time to learn that, but we finally did learn, and I'm really happy about that. So I have 3 big goals for Q3, and then I have a few check off goals. So the first one is bringing the fun back to Instagram. For the last few months, have felt really stuck on Instagram, and I love posting stories and photo dumps, and I try my best to keep Instagram casual, but the best way I can explain it is I feel like on YouTube, like you have your pillars, you settle in, you build your community, and then you kind of just establish this rhythm. Like I have these kind of like, I wouldn't want to say signature series, but like if you think of me, you probably think of the home vlogs, the reset routines, the life of an introvert videos, right? Like you just like establish this good routine with videos. But I feel like over on Instagram and TikTok, it's very fast, it's very trend driven, and they kind of just like favor these fast digestible storytelling videos, which I feel like I suck at because obviously I love to yap. And I don't know, I just kind of have gotten in my head about it the last few months. I feel like because I know it works so well on YouTube, it almost makes Instagram feel more high stakes because I kind of don't have that good routine and rhythm on there. And I just feel like it's so easy to get caught up in like what's trending and what's next. And sometimes I'll scroll on Reels and it like sounds silly, but people, I'm like, wow, like I would have never like thought of putting that text on screen, or I would have never thought to take a trending sound and turn it into this cute homebody video. And I almost just like feel like I play this comparison game 24/7 on Instagram, and it just feels so much different than long form content. But I do love Instagram, and I'm just kind of trying to find my place, I think, over on Instagram again, and like Instagram / TikTok or whatever. And so I kind of just want to spend the next few months experimenting and taking off the pressure to create and just creating for fun. I feel like whenever I get a brand deal, like when I did that President's Choice video, I was so proud of it and how it turned out. And I just want to like take the pressure off non-sponsored content, I guess, and just create what I want to create. And I just want to enjoy the process and not overthink it as much, especially when it comes to creating reels. And I do really love it. I find it's like a different part of my creativity brain when you create short form content versus long form content. I think also like when I compare myself last year, we were just go, 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 right? We were obviously doing that like really long campaign with Remax, so we were doing a ton of home projects. And this year we've definitely dwindled it down because we realized that home renovation burnout is like so real, and we've toned it down. And we had some obviously like bigger ticket items this year, like our patio door, and they're like not as like, it's fun to have a patio door, but it wasn't like a fun like video to film. And so I also feel like I just like haven't had luck thrifting in the last like 6 months. We also just like don't need anything. So I feel like my pillars are changing a little bit, and I'm just trying to figure out, I don't know, I'm trying to figure out how to fall back in love with it again, if that makes sense. So anyways, that's one of my goals for Q4. Next is to finish our dining room makeover. This has been one of those projects that's just taken us a really long time, but that is totally okay with us. Our dining room was like in January, like a hodgepodge of furniture. It was a lot of stuff from our old house that we didn't want to keep. It was a lot of random stuff, and we've slowly, very slowly, you know, put some love into it, right? We got the door removed, we got a new table, then we got the chairs last month, we got the hutch, and it's slowly coming along, but it's definitely been like a really, really slow project. And I just want to finish that off before the end of the year. We took the trim off in January. We haven't put any trim back on, and it just needs a few little touches. I really, really want to wallpaper it so bad. I think I'd probably have to hire somebody though, because Matt has no interest, and I like don't think I could do it by myself. Just needs a few little things. I can put like an inspo photo on the screen of kind of some of the different elements that we're going to be doing, but it's really close to the finish line. Matt has to like relocate a vent, and we need to fix a piece of drywall, but other than that, it just needs trim and paneling, and then if we choose to do wallpaper, we can. So we're really close to it. We got to figure out what color rug to put in there, but it's really, really close to being finished, and I'd like to get that done kind of over the next few months, chip away at it. Okay, last one is explore the possibility of upgrading my car. Matt and I have been talking about this for probably 2 years now, but the good thing is like we're not in a rush. Like it's not like anyone's car has bit the dust or anything. It's just something that we've been thinking about. Also, just having an SUV would be nice so that we could get a trailer and we could actually like buy materials instead of getting them shipped, things like that for the house. Taking our time. A year ago, like this month, or maybe it was like in the summer, we test drove some cars. We're pretty set on a Tiguan. Matt is a Volkswagen guy. My family has all Volkswagens. Like we're pretty set on the Tiguan, and I don't want like the comments to be like, oh, considered like we've test driven so many cars. I actually had the Taos as my rental car in Fredericton, and I found it just like the trunk space was too small, but we're pretty set on a Tiguan. And we're just trying to figure out logistics of it. It makes more sense for me to probably trade in my car and keep Matt's paid off car, and then we'll have one car payment. We can probably split it between the two of us. We're trying to figure out like those logistics, but I feel like since we don't want to buy new, we've just been waiting to see if interest rates are going to come down, and I'd love to just like go sit and crunch numbers. Like go test drive the Tiguan. We have a good reputation, or sorry, we have a good relationship, my family does, with someone at the Volkswagen dealership, just because they've sold us like my family like 5 cars in the last like couple of years. And I would love to just like sit down and crunch the numbers. How much can I get for my car? What are interest rates right now? What are we looking at for a payment? Because I would never just like jump into it. And so especially an SUV, it's a bit more expensive. I just want us to take our time, but we would really like by the end of the year to have a plan, whether that means we have an SUV at that point, or we're, you know, looking into early 2026. We kind of want to get that figured out. And then in terms of check off goals, I have replace our bathroom vanity. We need a new vanity upstairs. It's not practical at all. You guys have seen the drawers up there. They're just like weird. And Matt was like, you know what? Once again, it comes to that point of like, if you can buy something to prolong a renovation and put your money towards something else, I think it's a great idea. So we did like a bathroom little makeover up there. You know, we kept the vanity, we painted it, we did peel and stick flooring. Like, it looks great. The other thing is we just need a new vanity, and if we can spend $600-700 on a vanity and prolong renovating it for another 5 years, I think that's a great idea. So that's something we want to do. I'd love to hit my $15,000 yearly investing goal. And I want to text our contractor, see if we can get a quote for the built-in shelf demolition in the kitchen. But we just need to see if that needs a support beam or something like that. But once again, I just like to plan for these things and have numbers in mind. Matt and I also need to sit down in the next little bit and plan out our next 6 months of home projects. We like to do that every quarter or so, sit down, go over our checklist of what's coming up, figure things out, crunch some numbers. Love to also maybe hit 130K on TikTok or on YouTube, and then Instagram. Honestly, we'll just see where it takes us. I don't want to put any pressure on it. And then lastly, we're gonna put a PAX in the entryway as well. Once again, we just really need the storage. So that is kind of like all the check off goals, very home project focused for the next few months. But that's okay, because I feel like in other aspects, I'm like very content where I am. Obviously we have our trip to Berlin coming up, which I'm so excited about, and Matt is coming with us, or coming with me, I should say. You're coming to Berlin with us in terms of the vlog, but I am so excited for that. I'm really excited for Q4. I don't know, something about it just, I feel like it's gonna be a good one. Okay, I think next we're gonna do my reading wrap up. I think I'm just gonna do them really rapid fire, try and do like a 1 to 2 sentence review for each book. But I do post my real-time thoughts on Instagram and then also on my Fable as well, which I'll link down below. We have a Fable book club. I'm pretty sure we're gonna be reading One Dark Window next month, or like in October, which is super exciting. So if you guys wanna read that, you haven't read it yet, maybe this is your sign, you can join the book club. I want to do this now, that way when I film my book video later in the week, I can kind of just put the books away. I love reorganizing the bookshelves. And now that we've had these for a few months now, or like 1 or 2 months, I feel like there's some things I want to change, and I love being able to put the books away from a wrap up, because I read a lot of physical books this month, and I am committed, you guys. I don't know what it is. This switch flipped this month, and I was committed to reducing the physical TBR. So read a lot from the library, and yeah. But before we get into it, I just want to forewarn you that I read an absurd amount of books this month. I typically am between like 8 to 10, which is still high for some people, and I always like to say in these videos that I think that reading and the number of books you read is so personal to the person and where you are in your life, and you should not compare where I am to where you are. Matt and I don't have children right now. We really don't have crazy social lives, if I'm being honest. I just have a lot of free time on the weekends, and I will say my mental health played a big factor this month, and I can usually correlate the number of books I read to how my mental health is doing. I think there are worse coping mechanisms, but when I am just struggling, especially this month, I was really in a funk, I put the phone down. I wasn't on short form content much this month, and you kind of realize how much time you get back when you're not doom scrolling. Really tried my hardest this month to swap my doom scrolling for reading. Just that little spiel, because I did read quite a lot this month, but my mental health was also like in the dumps. So like, you know, win some, lose some. Okay, let me pull these up on Fable. Crown of Midnight. This is book 3 for me, because I read Assassin's Blade first. So this is book 3 for me. This is where it finally started to pick up. I ended up giving this 3.5 stars. I feel like the pacing is still just a little bit off in this. The first half was super slow. The last half was like super fast paced. So I feel like there was a bit of a pacing problem in this. However, I will say something that I've noticed SJM does really well is this almost like just you wait atmosphere and feeling. I wrote down on my Fable, if you see me looking down, there's a certain ominous energy that grows throughout this book, storm clouds on the horizon, if you will, and nonetheless, I'm excited to keep going. Sarah J. Maas does a good job of keeping my attention at the same time as the book being slow, if that makes sense. And then I wrote that the romance is still lackluster, but I'm being patient. I know that it is YA, and I actually don't really know how much romance is in this, so let me know what I should expect. But I did really enjoy that. Next book I read was A Spell to Wake the Dead by Nicole L'Espérance. plus parents. I also just realized I'm not telling you guys the plot of these, but I feel like that's something you can easily like look up if you're interested in a book. But this follows a girl and her friends. They're like super into spells. It's like a YA witchy thriller that takes place in New England. Great summer to fall read. I feel like it's a good transition read. You know, find some shady shit that's happening around them. I think this is the month I just realized that YA is really hit or miss for me, and this actually got sent to me, which I'm so grateful for. But this is the type of book I probably would have got at the library, just because I feel like a YA romance thriller, whatever it is, it's kind of hit or miss. Like, it's either really great for me or it's not, and this was good. I feel like if you're closer to the YA range, you would really enjoy this. I just struggle to connect with the characters when they're young, and I'm always like, oh, they're so whiny and they make stupid decisions, but like I would have made the same decision when I was 16 or 17. But I just struggle, I think, now that I'm getting closer to 30 reading these YA books. But I really loved the mystery element of this, and it was very spooky and very witchy. I feel like there was just a lot happening in the last 30%, and it was just super jumbled, and I kind of was like, wait, what is going on? But I do think it was a good read, worth picking up at the library. The next few I'm going to talk about really quickly because I did share them in my reading vlog, but then I read Play Nice by Rachel Harrison. Ended up giving this 3.5 stars. The only thing is I just went in with the wrong expectations. I didn't realize her books were going to be so family drama focused, and I went into this expecting full-on horror, and it was more like very light horror, mostly family drama. So if you want something for spooky season that isn't overly spooky, that's your book. I read Scary in Love by Holly June Smith. I gave this 4 stars. This is on Kindle Unlimited, and this was so fun and smutty. Like, this was a great time. We follow our female main character who like loves Halloween, loves everything spooky, loves to be scared, and this famous haunted house in the area gets bought out by somebody in the family and turned into an attraction. And so she goes on opening night. She's like so excited for this haunted house. And anyways, the romance ends up being between her and the guy that like is running this whole scare house situation. This is smutty. One of the smuttiest books I've read this year. So if you want a quick Halloween smutty read, this is the one for you. Then I read Falling Like Leaves by Misty Wilson. I had to return this to the library, but 3.5 stars. Once again, I talked about this in my reading vlog. I just think YA romance is not for me. It's just not for me. And it was cute. I think if you're 16, 17 reading this, it would give you like all the fall vibes, and it definitely did give the small town vibes. I just felt like it was a little unbelievable at times. And we have This Cursed House by Del Sandine, which is a like gothic horror novel that takes place in New Orleans. I ate that shit up. I've probably said this 100 times this month. I think New Orleans is the perfect backdrop for like a gothic horror novel, and I love the spookiness of New Orleans and just all the ghosts and the hauntings and all those things. So I loved this because I have a hyperfixation on New Orleans, like history and folklore and all that stuff. I do feel like it's one of those books that's going to be hit or miss for people, right? Like, I think I loved it because I have this fascination with the New Orleans folklore and history, but I do see how this could be more of like a 3.5 star. But I do think it was a great book that was layered with themes of like racism and social issues in the 1960s. So I really enjoyed that. We have our book club pick for September, which was If It Makes You Happy by Julie Olivia. I think I'm an outlier here. This was just really long. It was like 500 pages. I think that's kind of absurd for a romance book. And it was very cozy, very small town, autumnal Vermont in the 90s, and I loved that. But I just felt like if it's gonna be 500 pages of like jam-packed romance, that's fine. But I just found that this dragged on and on and on, and like the chapters just start getting a little repetitive. There's just some personal things I don't love in books. I don't want to spoil it, and some of those happened for me in this, but I do think it's like very cozy, autumnal, like get you in the mood for fall. It's just a little long, so go into that knowing that it is like over, I think, 500 on the dot. Then I listened to No Rest for the Wicked, which was a 3.5 star read for me. A little bit of a bummer. It was one of my most anticipated releases of the fall, and this was about a girl who goes back to her small town in, I think, a Midwestern town, because her father, who's a former senator, goes missing, and this town is like obsessed with Halloween. Once again, I just felt like I couldn't click with any of these mysteries or thrillers this month. Sometimes I find books focus too much on being like spooky season coded and not enough on the actual plot. I just found once again that this just kind of like dragged a little bit. There wasn't enough context in this book. Like, I was constantly confused, and I was kind of like frustrated because they would talk about something, but we would not have gotten context on this previously. And I found like oftentimes I was just a bit confused about what was going on, and it just took a lot of time for all these like different little pieces to come together. Then I listened to what I believe is an arc, but I think that the book is out on Kindle Unlimited, of Headless Hollow by Brooklyn Cross. I love a good spicy Halloween novella. I especially love a Sleepy Hollow retelling, and the plot twist at the end had my jaw dropped. I feel like if you liked Butcher and Blackbird, you would really enjoy this because it's kind of like this dark serial killer thing. This was such a great like spin on Sleepy Hollow and a great little like retelling and reimagining. I do think it would be a pretty short book as well, because I don't think that the novella was very long to listen to on audio, but I highly recommend if you want something spicy and you love a good retelling. Then I read Spellcaster. I loved this. If you liked the elemental magic in Zodiac Academy, but you didn't like the bullying, this is the book for you. I had so much fun with this. I gave it a 3.75 stars. It is a duology, and I'm very excited to continue it. Basically follows our female main character. I think I talked about this in a vlog as well, but it's basically like a dark academia, elemental magic, enemies to lovers, like true enemies to lovers. There's like a monster element to it, which makes it really, really fun. The only reason it got knocked down points is I feel like it was kind of like a setup for book 2. So I'm assuming book 2 will be kind of jam-packed. It was a lot of world building, and we definitely get a good feel for our two main characters. But the end, you're kind of like, oh, that's it? Like, it's done? Like, there's not really like a big cliffhanger or anything. So I'm really curious to see what book 2 is going to be about. But yeah, if you like Zodiac Academy, highly recommend. Okay, I feel like if you liked Hotel Transylvania, you would love this. I've decided I'm not gonna rate middle grade. I don't really know how. I don't know. I was like, I'm not gonna rate this, but it was really good. I do highly recommend. I think it is a 4-book series right now. I really want to pick up the next one. I had so much fun with this book. It's nice and short and sweet. I feel like it's a good palate cleanser if you want something quick and easy between you know, those dark academia, thriller, horror books of the fall. So I did really, really enjoy that. 5 stars, hands down. I was nervous because I loved Butcher and Blackbird. I didn't love the next 2 books in the trilogy. Just, to me, nothing could top Butcher and Blackbird, but I think this might. I had so much fun with this. It was perfect. It was everything I wanted. This basically follows our female main character from the first series. You kind of like, if you read the first series, you'll know where the connection is. And the male main character in this is a serial killer who's hunting her, which is just great. It's got signature Bryn Weaver banter. The pacing of this was perfect. I loved the small town in this, and I just had an absolute blast. I did have one DNF this month, Murder Road, which is unfortunate. This is why I don't like these subscription services that you just get a random book sent to you, because I feel like this is such a beautiful special edition, and I probably would have just like gotten this from the library. I got 50% in. I did do it. I read the first 25%. I wasn't like super into it, so then I got the audio from the library to try that out, and I just felt bored. Like, there was nothing really happening. The premise was kind of cool. Basically, this couple who's newly married finds this girl on the side of the road. They take her to the hospital. She ends up dying. There's this murder case that opens, but I was just bored. Like, I just feel like there was nothing really happening, so I unfortunately did DNF that. But then I ended on a great note because I finished the Griffith Brothers series. I read the second book last month, and then I read Fireline this month, and I loved this. I had high hopes because Death Storm was obviously like a 6-star read for me. This was a 5-star. It was perfect. It was everything I wanted. It was incredible. I just love the found family in this. I'm so sad that the series is over, but this one was so good. There was also a little bit of like a romantic suspense to it. So if you like Catherine Cowell's books, you would really enjoy this one specifically. But it was the perfect ending. We had like 2 epilogues, and it was just everything that I wanted. I have the book somewhere. I think it's up here, but I loved that. But yeah, I think that was a really good reading month. I think for October, I'm just going to kind of mood read my TBR. I don't think I'm going to pull any prompts or anything because there's just like a bunch of new releases I want to read. And like I said, the fire has been lit under my ass to read my physical TBR and get that down as much as possible before the end of the year. But yeah, overall, I had a great reading month. Honestly, I'm really, really happy with it. And while we're on the topic of spooky season and Halloween, we can do a little check-in on my Halloween bucket list. Haven't done any other spreads actually this month, which is like kind of crazy. I have my daily junk spread, and then I have my mood board, my bucket list. I do want to do a spread with the new LCBO Food and Wine book for fall, but I haven't gone up to get one yet. So I will probably do one more spread before the month is done, but I wanted to check off or see if we can check anything off of the fall bucket list. So how am I gonna put this on the screen for you guys? Maybe I can just like put an overlay on the screen of the goals, and you can like pause it if you want to read it. I think the only one I can accomplish so far, we have a lot to do in October, is Pick a Fall perfume. Technically, I did visit a new town, like if we consider Fredericton, but I'm gonna make it more like around here. I ended up getting Jazz Club by Replica. I had like a Sephora store credit. I don't know, I must have returned something, but you couldn't use it online. I had to use it in store. So I ended up going in and getting the travel size of the Replica. Is it Replica? It might not be, honestly. Whatever the Jazz Club is, I picked that up. So I can check that off of the Halloween or fall bucket list, but I still need to bake cinnamon buns from scratch, carve pumpkins, dress up more, watch 5 new movies, have a backyard bonfire, living room sleepover, new hobby, board game night, go to a fall market, have hot cider, and a 24-hour readathon. So we have a lot to do. We can only check one thing off, and I need to finish up my daily junk spread and then start my October one, but I have a few more days left in the month. By the time you guys are watching this, I think that today's what, the 28th or 29th? So I definitely need to be doing some catching up on the daily junk, but let's go over my budget for the month, shall we? And I guess we can start with a little chat about how I'm feeling with money. I talked about this over on my Instagram, but I have just, in the last few months, felt really unmotivated to track my money. It's felt more like a chore than the tool that it is. It got me thinking about like motivation with money, and obviously everyone's in different stages, but like for me, I graduated university. I wanted to pay off my consumer debt, my credit cards, paid off the rest of my student loans, then there was buying a house, and then there was obviously eloping and all that stuff. And then after all those milestones, you're kind of like, okay, like now what? Like those are very motivating things to save for. And I know that investing for retirement is so important, but it's long term. And so I feel like it's been really hard for me to find the motivation to save for that. And obviously you have short-term things like going on trips and stuff, but I think I've just struggled with being excited and like having milestones to look forward to. And one of the things I realized was that I was just overcomplicating my budget. Sorry, if I look down, it's because I have some notes written down. When you share your finances online, there's this pressure to over-explain everything so that people get it. But no matter what you do, someone will have an opinion, whether you spend on credit versus debit, or how you split finances with a partner, or even like for us, like an unconventional home buying like choice, or like how we decided to go about buying our first house. And so it started to feel like I was performing a budget for an audience, and that's not what budgeting is for. My budget is not a show, it's for me. And so I decided to just like simplify things. So I went into my budget and I asked myself like what feels like unnecessary to be here. I really want to focus on like what works for me in my life, because my budget is personal first and then sharing it second. It's not the other way around. I also looked at my budget and I asked myself like why I budget, like what is the purpose behind it? And that is going to change throughout your life, right? Like before, my purpose was making sure I could pay off my debt, and then now it's turned into saving and investing. I realized in this current time right now, for me, my budget is to oversee my spending habits, and then also to make sure I'm saving and investing for my future. And so I feel like once you get clear on like the why behind your budget, or even like updating it, because like I said, it's going to change with the seasons, then I was able to simplify things in the budget. So a few little things have changed. First is our joint card. I've just put that in as a line item now. Instead of breaking it down by like groceries, alcohol, home projects, it's just a single line item. Matt budgets on his end, like personally, like we both budget personally and then the joint card, and he really does most of the shopping on our joint card. He does the groceries because he'll pick them up like after work on our way back home, and he's the one getting all the lumber and things for home projects. And so I feel like the budget pressure for the joint card is not on me. Like he handles most of the budgeting for the joint card. All that to say, like groceries, we tend to spend the same amount every month. Home projects are planned and budgeted for, and we kind of talk through all of our purchases. So I just feel like that category doesn't need to be broken down any further anymore, and it could just be a line item. And that just frees up the budget to be about my personal spending. I also just went back to using a more simple spreadsheet for now. I use Gabby Peterson. I love her. She has like an older version and a newer version. And I just decided like, let's go back to the simple one for now and see if that kind of helps too. I have my discount code linked down below for you guys. I don't get any kickback or anything off of it. It's just for you guys to share because I love her budget spreadsheet. But I went back to, because you always have it, right? So I went back to a more simple spreadsheet to use, and I'm feeling really excited about it again. So anyways, that's the little spiel on the finances. In terms of if you're new here, and just like an overview on my budget in case, you you need some context. I work a part-time corporate job. I work around 30 hours a week, give or take. And this just like allows me a bit more space to focus on creating content for you guys. I get the best of both worlds with it. Sometimes I work more, sometimes I work less. It just kind of depends on the season. My business is also incorporated, my business being social media. And so that is completely separate from my personal finances. What you guys see is just my personal spending. And I pay myself through dividends, not a salary, which means I can just kind of pay myself whenever and however much I want. And the number you guys see is post taxes, because you obviously have to put aside money for taxes when you're self-employed through your personal side and then your business side. And then out of our business account, I cover things like our internet, my phone bill, subscriptions, anything I buy for filming, books, anything to review. If we travel and create content out of it, that goes through the business account. Basically anything I need to create content for you guys goes through the business. And then everything I share here is my personal spending. So if you guys see me talk about something in a video and it's not in the personal budget, it's probably like gone through the business. And then my husband and I also have a yours, mine, ours system. And so we each have our own bank accounts. We have our own credit cards for personal spending, and then we have a joint card for shared expenses. So we split our like fixed cost 50-50 and then also our big expenses. But we're honestly like not super strict on who pays for what. Like for example, sometimes if he surprises me with dessert, he'll just like put it on his personal credit card. But most of the big things like groceries, big home projects, travel, and then dog essentials go through our joint card. So that's a little bit of a spiel on that, but let's jump into the budget overview. I'm gonna pull that up super quick and we can see how September went. I'm honestly really happy with September. If I'm being so honest with you guys, I'm really happy with it. So let me go ahead and pull that up. Welcome to September. This is how September went for us. I'm honestly really happy with it. And like I said, I went back to a bit more of a simple spreadsheet for the time being, just so that I could kind of regroup, refocus. And yeah, so I guess let's jump into it. Credit card balances, I always like to pay these off before the end of the month. However, our joint card is set on auto pay for payday. And so we don't get paid until October 3rd. So like the last, I don't know, week and a bit from this month will be on our like October pay, but it's also 3 paycheck month in October, which is great. But my personal credit cards, I kind of just like pay off whenever. I like to have them zeroed out by the end of the month. And then we did get a new fridge this month. Matt put that on his personal card. He wanted the credit card points. Like I said, we're not really like picky on who pays for what. We're big like credit card point people. So if someone needs to hit a bonus, we'll let them put it on that card. So Matt put it on his credit card, and because October is a 3 paycheck month, I'll just send him money for that in October. So I'm going to budget that into October since we just got it the other day. But here's kind of just how the month went. We definitely are ending the month a little lower than I'd like to, but that's okay. Once again, October is a 3 paycheck month. It's fine. I'm still feeling good about it. Paychecks were pretty on par with what I expect. I like to under budget them though. That way I'm never surprised. But I did get a 3% raise. So going into October, my paycheck should be a little bit higher. And then you'll see here I got back pay for that 3% raise, and I just left that in my checkings account. I didn't assign it anything. Business, paid myself $2,000. As you guys can see, I kind of share and highlight where that goes. I like to plan these things out at the beginning of the month, so that way when the money hits my account, I know exactly where I'm putting it, and I don't have to worry about, you know, ooh, maybe I'll just like go buy myself this instead, because every dollar is assigned a purpose. So my business dividends typically top up my sinking funds and then my investments for the month, and this allowed us to hit our quarterly investing goal. I tried something new this month. This is what I tend to do when I'm feeling kind of overwhelmed with budgeting, is I don't set budgeted amounts per category. I just set a comfortable amount that I would like it to be at the end of the month. So I feel like the last few months have been really high with home projects. So I tried to see if we could get it around $1,750, and next month will be a little higher because we have the fridge. But so I just set a number I'd like to hit, and we're actually a little bit under, but we do have a few days left in the month. I don't anticipate any big purchases, but we do, you know, we might get closer to that $1,750. So joint card, so this is my half of the joint card, and like I said, I'm just like not breaking down the groceries or anything anymore. I can talk through what the purchases are with you guys, but for my own budgeting sake, I was like, this is kind of silly. I already have to break down the credit card transactions, that the joint card was just like, that was extra work. Let's just put it in as a joint card. Eating out and coffee, that's like me eating out and coffee, car maintenance, shopping, item restock, like all straightforward categories. Home decor, definitely a little bit higher than normal. We did buy some seasonal decor at the beginning of the month. Bills were all the same. We had our quarterly, we pay our property taxes 3 times a year. So that came out, that was my half. These are the subscriptions I pay for out of pocket. The other ones go through our joint card. Crave, for some reason, I need to move that over to the joint card. So this should be lower because I really only have my Oura ring right now, which I'm still deciding what I want to do about that situation. Banking fees, and then I have a vet bill to pay in October. So that's there, but nothing this month. Mortgage, car payment, all the same. And then these are my auto investments, and then any additional investments I make, and then my sinking fund contributions. So that's like an overview of September. Really happy with how September went. I think our grocery spending this month was only around $400 Canadian, which is really low for us. We, as you guys know, got a new fridge, and so we set a mission for ourselves that we could only buy like yogurt, fruits, veggies, cheese, like snacks, and we had to clear out our freezer as much as possible. So I think we only did one grocery run this month, which is like kind of wild. But yeah, we had a really low grocery spend month, so I'm really happy with that, just because we did end up spending a bit more on like some home stuff. Yeah, I'm very happy with that. We were like, if we're getting rid of, you know, these 2 fridges and condensing into one bigger fridge, we need to get rid of some stuff. So we really ate our way through the freezer this month. We go down to my expenses. I like to break them down by credit card because, once again, I'm a credit card like points person. So I like to put certain things on different cards. My Neo card, yeah, this was like, once again, this was like the project. I was like, oh, I want to put curtains up. I kind of forgot to put on the joint card. Whatever, not the end of the world. Mail club, thrifting, parking at work. I had to pay 52 cents off of that like store credit for that perfume I got. The cordless lamp in the entryway, my pumpkin slippers, my little bag, and then the sunglass holder. I think my Neo card is like the automatic card on my Amazon account. And then yeah, Oura ring and Crave. I need to move this over to my joint card. I'm actually gonna highlight that so I remember to do that. I traded out my Ion Plus Visa for the Visa Platinum, so that's a new card. Gas, yeah, postcards, magnets, restock. So our joint card, at the beginning of the month, I was still putting in these individual transactions, and then I was like, man, I'm just gonna put in like my like payments. I feel like this number is high. That's like my half, but it's because we bought those floral arrangements, which I know will last us a long time. Yeah, this is what I started putting in, just the payments. And then that was my half of the IKEA. Those drawer units, I got some organizers and some curtains. I paid for so much out of my checkings account this month. I don't really know why I did. So I got a pin off of a Facebook group, gas, sandwich, pumpkin butter, tank top. One of you guys was so sweet and you saw my video and you were actually donating one of your like husband's Patagonia sweaters, and you asked me if I wanted it, and I was like, oh my gosh, yes, I will like be happy to pay for the shipping. Let me pay you for the sweater. And she was like, no, it's fine. We were going to donate it. So I paid her for the shipping on that, and Matt loves it so much. So that was a little gift for him. It was a surprise. Yeah, photo printing. That probably could have gone through the business, but it's fine. We got the hutch off of Facebook Marketplace, and then work will not cover snacks or alcohol. So I had to pay for the beer and Dairy Queen out of pocket. This is like, I probably could have divvied this up between shopping and travel, but I got a jelly cat at the hotel gift shop, and then I got a souvenir, or a couple souvenirs for my mom, souvenir for Matt. I got him a mug, got that striped dress. This is A&W. I paid $7.48 for a pumpkin cold brew, which I think is absolutely wild, and will not be doing that again. And then I did an item restock at Shoppers. So that's everything there. And like I said, if you didn't see it on this side, it probably went through the business. So any books that I bought this month. So that is the budget for September. Overall, I'm really happy with how it went. I definitely think October will be a bit more of a high spend, just because we're going to Berlin and my daily stipend for work is around $70 Canadian. And as we know, the euro is not great. So I do expect I'll have to be paying a decent amount out of pocket. If I go over my stipend for the day, the difference is on me. If we get any beer, souvenirs, obviously things like that, I have to pay for out of pocket. But work is covering my flight, my hotel. It'll give me that daily stipend for work, and then any like metro, taxi, Ubers that we take are paying for out of pocket, really. Matt's paying for his meals out of pocket, and then souvenirs and any fun things we decide to do, because we do have a few days to explore before my conference. I think our fridge was around $1,200 or $1,300 Canadian. We got like a bit more of a budget-friendly one. And then our joint card. And then a 3-paycheck month also means an extra mortgage payment, which is awesome. I'll take anything I can get because we're up for renewal in May, which means we have to start kind of shopping around soon. Unfortunately, we'll have to say goodbye to our 1.8% interest rate, but it's been nice. We've been able to put extra payments on, which has allowed us to prepare mentally for the difference in our mortgage payment. So like I don't really think our mortgage payment is going to change too much because we're already doing 20% more. That's going right on our, is it the principal? Whatever. Like it's not going towards interest. So we have to start planning for that as well. But yeah, really happy with that. We'll see what October has in store. I got that vet bill. I think October will be a bit more of an expensive month, but that just means I want to be very mindful with my own personal spending. So that is the budget for September. Let's end this off with my current favorites. I just kind of have this basket laying around, and then over the last few days when I thought of something I've been loving, I've just been throwing it into this. The first thing I've been loving is this app. It's called Particle. Matt and I have been talking about finding a news app that I just love a good interface basically, and I wanted a news app that felt customizable to me, a bit more personalized, and I could choose to see what I want to see and filter it. And this app is literally perfect, you guys. I'm obviously like not sponsored or affiliated with them at all. It'd be really cool to work with them. So this is what the interface looks like. You kind of pick the categories that you want to see at a glance. And I just really love the interface of it. It's super easy to scroll through, and there's different sections. And I wanted to show you guys the coolest feature I find, because I love to stay up to date with world news, but sometimes I don't really honestly understand it. So let me find something. Let's do this article about Bitcoin. So we're going to open it up. It gives you an overview with the key points. It gives you any correlated articles and then any like quotes, links, questions and comments. But if you go here to this little overview part, you can actually change the way that it describes the article to you. So you can pick opposite sides, which I really like, because it will tell you an opposite side of an argument. I find this really helpful when I'm looking into world news specifically, maybe not so much Bitcoin actually, so I'm going to stop that. But they also have this section called Explain Like I'm 5, which is really nice when you're trying to break down world news or things like Bitcoin that I don't quite understand. So I really love this, and I actually use this feature quite a lot. There's just like different ways that you can oversee articles. I really like it, and you can just pick and choose what you want to see on your feed. So I wanted to share that. Other kind of random things, this little tripod attachment is great because if you do long form and short form, you don't have to buy a second tripod to put your phone in. You can just buy this little piece, and then it has the spot that you put in your tripod, and this just allows me to use one tripod instead of two. So it's really nice, really smooth to use. I find some of them are kind of cheap. So you can use it this way for short form, you can use it this way for long form, and it allows me to just have one tripod instead of two. If you guys are local to Ottawa, you need to try these coffee beans. Papa Bean has our favorite espresso. This is probably like our 8th container. If you're in the East End, they are located in Vars, and they have a website. I can link it down below. They're in certain grocery stores, and I believe they're usually at the Navan Farmers Market, but I'm sure they have an Instagram or something where you can keep up to date with what markets and fairs they're at, but this is our favorite espresso. Yeah, I wanted to share that in case you guys are in the Ottawa area and you're looking for new coffee beans. The best. Next are these like little containers from Walmart. These are like $2.97 Canadian, and I love the design on them. I love the stripes, but they're the perfect size for overnight oats or yogurt parfaits on the go. So we love using these for breakfast. Matt's in the office every day. I'm in the office once a week. So they're really nice to make overnight oats or like yogurt bowls and stuff, and they're just like the perfect size. We have the bigger one too for cold brew, but these are just like the perfect size, and they're just like a cute little mason jar with the gold lid and then the kind of like striped detailing. Anyone remember these from childhood? These Special K crisp bars? I found these at Costco the other day, and I literally squealed because I remember loving these as a kid. They come in a pack with strawberry and blueberry, and they are delicious. They're like a little mini, almost like Pop-Tart. They kind of look like this. They basically have like this strawberry filling with this like frosting, and they're like the perfect little afternoon pick-me-up. These are the best glue sticks I have found for junk journaling. The Yoo-Hoo stick. Way better than like the Elmer's or whatever it is. These are the superior, not this one specifically, but like just this brand in general. Great glue. Okay, I've got some beauty products. I talked about this in my morning routine, but oh my god, this moisturizer, where have I been? Have I been living under a rock? This feels so luxurious. It is like the perfect whipped consistency. It's the Aveeno Calm and Restore Oat Gel Moisturizer. I'm super acne prone, and this, like, knock on wood, has not broken me out. I've been using it for a few weeks now, and I feel like I notice right away if a product is really reactive with my skin. So luxurious. I don't know how to explain it. It's not too thick, but it's not too thin, and it's almost kind of like jelly, but but it's super hydrating. It'll be a really good winter moisturizer. I'm obsessed with this. Recently discovered this Kristen S blow dry mist, also like a heat protectant. Smells great. I love it. I was in the market for a new like heat protectant blow dry mist for when I'm blow drying my hair. This smells so good and it's really good. Doesn't make my hair super greasy. Love her. This is like my third bottle of the hypochlorous spray. I spray this on my face after a warm summer day, after a workout, just to help with the bacteria, because once again, I'm very acne prone. This works wonders. I have one in my car, in my work bag, at home in the entryway. This saves me. It's so good, especially if you tend to like break out because of like sweat after workout. You've got to try this. My favorite lip gloss, the L'Oreal Plump Ambition. I got this sent to me. I have repurchased it already. It's so good. It's not sticky at all. It's kind of pepperanty, a little tingling, and it's perfect. It's not sticky at all. It's like the creamiest formula. I'm obsessed with it. This is the color Worth It 601, but it's just my favorite that I've ever tried. I am obsessed. I have this. I have a darker shade. I love it. They have a clear one. It's just like the perfect lip gloss in my opinion. And then lastly, the fucking battery's dead again. I gotta stop yapping so much. One sec. New battery to end this video off. We're ending it off strong. Don't worry, it's not a real long shot. I wish. Let me take you guys on a journey for a second. If you have a long shot, please weigh in. I'm not gonna lie, you guys, I've been a hater. I was like, who would buy a bag this tiny? What does it fit? Like, what's the purpose? And then when we were in London, I saw a ton of people with this bag. I love my bagoo. I use her all the time. Sometimes she's too big. Like sometimes I just want to grab my wallet and my phone and run errands. Like I don't have to worry about like a bigger bag. And also when I'm traveling, sometimes I get like a little overstimulated by like the bagoo and the backpack on, and like it's just like a lot. I was like, okay, I'm kind of understanding, because when we were in London, I was like, it would be so nice to have a smaller bag when I'm not filming, because I do tend to film on my phone a lot when we're on the go traveling. So it would be the perfect size to just fit my phone, my wallet, and I could have it close to me. I also love that it has a zipper and then this, so like you can't really get pickpocketed in Europe easily, I would assume. And so I thought about it. I came back, I put it on my wish list, and I went to my conference and a few of the girls had it, and I was like, wow, that would actually also be the perfect like work purse, like when I go into the office, because I always have like my bagoo and then a lunchbox and then like my backpack or my tote bag. It's just like the perfect small bag with your essentials in it. So I told myself that which is like silly, I probably should have just got the real bag, but I wanted to make sure I used it first, and then I can always give this like my sister or my mom after, or maybe like, I don't know, get the real one in a different color. But they had like these, I don't love the word dupe, but on Amazon for like under $20. I think I ended up like getting it on a coupon. I think, well, you guys saw on the budget, like $9.52 or something Canadian. They had a bunch of colors, and I was like, let me use this for a month or two, make sure I actually like it before committing to the real deal, because I thought that if I really liked it, I could get one when I was in Berlin, because you save the tax on it, which isn't much on like $100 bag, but it would still be something. And I thought it'd be like kind of fun to get when I was like in Berlin as like a gift, like oh my god, you survived your first international work conference kind of thing. Anyways, all that to say, I love this. So if you're like me and you just like haven't been wanting to bite the bullet on a real one yet, or you want to make sure you're going to use it, this one is great. It also comes with the strap. So the real Longchamp mini doesn't come with the strap. It's just like this mini purse, and you have to buy the attachment. This comes all in one piece. Guys, this fits way more than you think it's gonna fit. It's kind of like a Mary Poppins bag. Everything I need to go run errands, this is like the perfect bag. I'm gonna use this when we travel to Berlin. Like, I'll just have this with my backpack, because sometimes the flight attendants will be like, you need to put your purse in your bag. Like, you can have 2 personal items, and I'm like, yeah, I know. And then I can't fit it in there. But this would like fit so easy in a bag. It's really spacious, to be quite honest. I can fit my phone. I do have a smaller wallet. I have like a card holder, so I have that in there. It's like a cute little Disney one. And then I can fit my key fob, and then I can usually fit like a granola bar and a lip balm in there. So it has like everything you need to go run errands, and I actually find it so practical to use. I was a hater before, and I've come full circle, because now I like use this all the time. I love my bagoo. She fits a ton, but it is really nice to just like be able to go through the airport with this and then like your backpack, and not have to worry about like a big purse or anything. So I actually love her. I can link her down below, like the best $10 I've spent. I think now it's like 18, but I love it. I love the navy. I was thinking of keeping this, and if I got a real one, I could get the black one. I really want the cream, but I feel like it would get dirty. So I was thinking about keeping the navy one and then maybe getting a real black one. I don't know. We'll see. But the difference from far away, you can't really tell. But I just love it. I think it's the perfect little bag. So that is my last favorite for the month. But I love you guys so much. Hopefully you guys enjoyed resetting with me for October. I am so excited to see what this quarter has in store. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.